Alrighty then, Manchester United and Chelsea. It's a match between two footballing giants that are completely unpredictable and totally underperforming. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game for us to preview with any level of accuracy. Both sides coming off very lacklustre performances in the last game, but every game feels like it's a must-win, with United desperate and possibly even unrealistic to try and catch Spurs and Villa now. Chelsea are actually unbeaten in 5 league games, but they do have an awful record against United. They are winless in the last 12 games against United, of which there's been 7 draws and 5 losses, which is their longest ever run without a victory against us. In terms of how they play, Poch loves setting his team up in the old faithful of 4-2-3-1, and they've got a midfield that's got 200 million just playing in the pivot position with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, which I think is a problem for us because midfield is where this game should be won and lost, and United basically don't have one. We just have Mainoo in there doing his thing. Chelsea build up in a 4-2-4 shape that really sort of, I don't know, it's a shape that they sort of migrate to as soon as they get the ball as well, but they also play out in it. They don't really have extra rotations to enable them to play out. We was really effective at stopping them playing out in the last game. And they do place a heavy emphasis on Palmer sort of trying to get into the half space, and the right back overlapping on the right hand side. But we did really effectively stop them pressing out and playing out, and Disasi was a disaster for them with it. I thought if you target him, you can really find some joy again. Gusto burst forward high, one that we scouted a long time ago and thought, hell of a player in there. The left back, usually when it's Cucurella, or obviously Colwill when he's not injured, turn into a centre half, and then they'll sort of shape it up in a 3-2-5 sort of way. Overall, in terms of possession base, it is a 4-2-4 sort of build-up that occasionally rolls out into a 3-2-5 as they do push that full-back up. But it does make them a little bit more fluid when they go forward. Out of possession, it's a 4-2 block with the emphasis on trying to shadow mark and block off passing lanes to players that are positioned inside where they've got their numbers. And once the position are effectively shadow marked, they try and use arcing runs to press the ball or the person in possession of the ball. And they've got a real nice blend, obviously, of physicality and technical skills. Transitional threats that spring out from within the defence can make them quite potent and quite dangerous against teams that don't sit back, i.e. United. They are powerful, they're athletic, they're tenacious when they're defending, and people like Gallagher, even though he was shite for England, have been a major cog in that defensive framework. He's often the tempo setter, in and out of possession, and I think he could get sacked, Poch, but I also think that he could just stumble on something that works because all of the jigsaw pieces are there. He's just not getting the right puzzle from them. They are very dangerous on the counter as well, and the gaping holes that United leave defensively and our lack of compactness could really hurt us in this game. Chelsea could turn us over. If you're not completely at it, they could absolutely turn us over. And particularly with the distribution quality of the likes of Cole Palmer, who's having a hell of a season. Their plan in the big games generally is all about disrupting the opposition and springing forward the likes of Mudryk, Jackson, Sterling, and some of the other dynamic players that they've got. Starman-wise, Cole Palmer, unbelievable season from him. Only major shining light in this Chelsea team. 18 goals and 12 assists in all competitions this season. Yes, there's been a fair few from the spot, but the numbers don't lie. He is one of the best creators in the league, and he has the top quality in the final third. If you stop his threat, you can neutralise Chelsea, but I don't know who in United's squad is going to go and do that clamp job on him. I'm going to do something a little bit different with my starting 11 for United. I'm going to go with Onana. And then the back four will be, again, I'm assuming fitness. This could change. Wan-Bissaka at left back. Martinez, Varane and Dalot. Start back for Martinez. It is what it is. I'm hoping he's fit. I have no idea if he is or not. Then a midfield of Casemiro and Mainoo with Mount ahead of them and Bruno off the right. Now, you could also play this with Mount off the right and keep Bruno where he is, but I think you have to try something different. We have to try something different. The number of shots, the lack of control, everything. Can we just mix it up a little bit? Bruno's very effective when he's played off the right-hand side. You still get a lot out of his tenacity. His chance creation is still there. He put the right sort of balls in more often for someone like a Højlund. I think that you could get a real tune out of Manchester United with that. And then obviously Rashford and Højlund completing the 11. That's what I was hoping we will go for. Like I said, Mount and Bruno could be interchangeable, but I want to see us get that many people in because midfield is going to win and lose this game. And if it's McTominay alongside Mainoo, I don't see how we win the game. I think it just looks exactly the same as Brentford, but more so because Brentford are not as good as Chelsea. United's star man in this, it'll be Højlund. He did look rusty against Brentford, but he will be vital in this game. He'll have a bit more room in this game, I think, than he had against Brentford. And he'll be getting us up the pitch because Chelsea will squeeze and press. So you want to play people around him. And that's why another reason why Mount and Bruno playing just off him. And then still have the in-behind threat that you've got from Marcus if they decide to push up. Because obviously, if Gusto is going to be the one pushing up, you can limit that by having him have to deal with Marcus and having Marcus cheat a little bit, which some people don't like. But I'll tell you this, it's a fact of football that some players get the defensive duties minimised because of what they can offer in attack. But if he's given the freedom to not have to track back Malo Gusto or to try and stay high to limit what Malo Gusto is going to do, then you have to be effective. And when the ball comes to you, you've got to look good with it and you've got to make things happen. You've got to get shots off and create chances and score goals. But yeah, that's my 11. Please let me know your thoughts on that. As always, the preview is brought to you by our friends at Parimatch and another exclusive bet boost that you can't get anywhere else. And this is the bet for this game against Chelsea. United to win. McTominay to be carded. Now, I know I've not just put him in my 11, but he'll probably play. Rasmus Højlund to score any time. Was 15-1, now 20-1. So if you want to get involved in that, all you got to do is click the link in the description. And obviously, prices are subject to change. You got to be 18 plus to participate. And listen, if you're going to be betting on United and Chelsea, I hope you know how unpredictable this is. And it's clearly not any sort of promise of winning. For more help and information, check out begambleaware.org. And once again, exclusive to myself and Parimatch UK. So if you want to get involved, click the link in the description below. Or let me know what bets you're going for in the comments. So how do we actually beat this Chelsea team then? Well, first and foremost, you got to be compact and you got to play with a bit of pragmatism. You need to set up with a lot more of a solid base in midfield. You can't have the sort of positional ill discipline in midfield that we've seen when it's McTominay and Bruno that are tasked with doing the sort of legwork alongside Mainoo. And if we make the game far too transitional, we will be in trouble. So you need to not lose control of the game. Basically, just got to have so much more control than we've had in months. Their front three is very athletic, and if you allow the likes of Enzo to pick his head up and play passes, they will fucking mincemeat you. They really will. And then, very importantly, and almost the primary reason I went with the team that I went with, is the build-up structure. We are sloppy in possession, and if you are sloppy in possession, you could be in trouble. So you need to be a lot less vertical, because physically they are better than us. They have personnel better suited to second balls and ground duels. So we need to just hold the ball a lot better than them. Be patient, elicit some control, and take your chances when they come. Because, look, I know I've given Chelsea a little bit of flowers in this preview, but they're where they are in the league for a reason. They can be beaten. They've lost a lot of football games this year. They can absolutely be beaten. But you need to have an element of control. If you make it a basketball game, it will genuinely be a coin toss on who wins it. And I don't fancy our luck at the moment. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on how you see this one going in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.